This is Al Graham for Worldwide Crime Watch. We are now in process of watching a sting go down. I've just received a call from Dr. Duffy's office saying that Dr. Duffy was on his way to visit me, so I'm going to sit him in that chair and then I'm going to interview him about him. And incidentally, this morning when they called me, they identified themselves as Mobile Physicians Services, and I did not. Looks like he's here, so hang on. Yes, he looks like he's a creepy looking bastard looking for me. Hello? Hello? Are you Dr. Duffy? Come on in, Doc. Dr. Duffy. How you doing?
Hello.
Come on in.
Thank you.
You're Dr. Duffy.
I'm actually Seth Ratton. I work with Dr.
Can
Duffy.
you close that door for me?
Sure.
Oh, you're Seth who?
Ratton.
Okay. You got a card, Seth?
I don't. Ran out of the office today.
Have a seat.
Hey, that's all right.
Scratch that. Let's go.
Oh.
There you go. Sit down. I'm going to sit over here.
Okay.
I'm most comfortable.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing all right for an old arthritic bastard. Well, listen, I'm really confused here.
Okay.
Like a bunch of us in Coronado retired, and we need good service. And I had good service, but there's others. I need mobile service too, because I don't like to stand in line.
Who does?
So it's such a benefit for me to have a mobile doctor. And I had one, and then suddenly I didn't have one, and they went belly up, and there was a lawsuit, and I'm really confused because the company I was with this morning, when the lady called, I called Dr. Duffy in EB, right?
EB.
But this morning she identified herself as the same company that dropped me, Mobile Physician Services.
Okay.
So is that who you are now?
So this is the backstory. So Pacific Medical Care with Dr. Duffy.
That's who I call.
Right. So that's who the part of the group that I'm with.
Oh, okay.
We bought Mobile Physicians about a month ago.
Oh.
So now now we still have Pacific Medical Care and we have Mobile Physicians. Internally, we're keeping them slightly, our patients separate, but for all intents and purposes, they're now one and the same.
Okay.
So nobody went belly up, nobody went bankrupt, no lawsuits, nothing like that. No, it was just us. We
Well,
bought.
I got all kind of gossip going back and forth.
Yeah, you got to hear from the horse's mouth.
Well, I'm left without a doctor now. I want to know about. Now you're not a doctor, right?
I'm a PA, correct?
What's that?
A physician assistant. So we all have at least master's degrees. I have a PhD.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're qualified to do this, right? So I'm on pain pills. I've been disabled for the last few years. I have a stent in my heart, kidney stones, chronic sinuses, rheumatoid arthritis. I'm just an old mess, and all I need is a doctor to come and see me once a month, prescribe my prescription, and not load me up with a bunch of shit I don't need, or send me for tests I don't need, which is what I've been finding that people tend to do these days. And I don't need any tests.
Okay.
I just need my rheumatism cleared up, controlled, and
Are you seeing a rheumatologist for that?
I've seen everybody. I've had hormone shots and all kinds of shit. That doesn't work because it's degenerative. Now it's just bone on bone, walking bone on bone. So there's nothing can be done. I just take Valium or...
We can slow the process down through Plaquenil and through all sorts of different anti-rheumatologic. Plaquenil actually it was originally used for malaria, but we realized that some of the potential side effects has helped to slow down.
Like quinine then.
A little different, but one of the same. Quinine and Plaquenil are the same base compound. We have to watch for your eyes. So that's an example. Another one, a couple of injectables, anti-rheumatological agents,
I'm a
TNF.
heart patient. Would that affect anything to...
Well, that's the reason why I was asking if you saw a rheumatologist, because they can really get specialized into what exactly does and doesn't work. So I'm very familiar with rheumatoid arthritis and even orthopedics, because I did an orthopedic fellowship. So orthopedics is my area.
That's who I was looking for. Someone who is a doctor of orthopedic. They call them a DO, right? That's what I was advised to have. No doctor of orthopedic.
No, so there's an MD, which is a medical doctor, and you have a DO, which is a doctor of osteopath. Both physicians, two different trains of thought. An MD is through the disease model. You know, if you have a cold, then you have a virus or a bacteria, and it's an MD. A DO is a bit more into the whole person philosophy.
See, I'm just old and confused as you.
Gotta listen to the right.
Let me ask you this. do I ever see a doctor? Because I used to see a doctor, he'd come out.
Sure.
So,
You could certainly you could request one right now. Everything's kind of, we're going through personnel and getting new people on, and you can imagine with
so
transition.
it's still up in the air with you guys.
Well, we're still doing transition. Sure.
Okay, so now, who diagnoses me after reading my medical history? Do you do that? Or
We
does it-
can, yeah. Anybody
Oh,
who
you
comes
can?
to see us,
Oh, okay.
sure.
I didn't know that. I thought I had to see a doctor. They told me at my hospital Cornell, because I'm not going to go there anymore. You know, I don't like it. I don't like waiting in line. I don't like the doctors. So I found,
Yeah.
I thought it was a good doctor. Then he disappeared, went up in smoke. But since that phone call, I made a couple of calls myself, and I found out that your doctor is working on a suspended license in Missouri, and another suspension here in California. 2 suspensions, and I don't see the suspended doctor. I see someone like you. Have you been suspended? Has that company got anything? He's running the company that was.
Do you want me? Do you have a medical thing, or because I understand why you would be frustrated? I really do, but I'm not the right person to direct this to because I'm just out here trying to treat people.
Well, what I'm trying to do is get me a reliable, honest doctor. So if I'm interviewing you, that's what I'm doing. I should also tell you that I'm chief investigator for Worldwide Crime Watch, a website that goes after scam doctors, OxyContin doctors. And so actually this is kind of like an interview to find out who the hell you guys are and why you operate under a license. First of all, your business's license is not owned by you. I checked that. It's owned by the original doctor, Dr. Davis. He claims ownership, and you say there was no lawsuit. That's wrong. The owner of this hospital, of this clinic,
Sure.
has just been in court last month for assaulting an attorney and for writing bad prescriptions on Dr. Davis's name. You don't know anything about that. Well, that's what you're involved in, and now that when I ask you some questions, you get touchy and say you're not the guy. Well, who is the guy?
Let me get them on the phone.
Would you? Let me do that. Let's talk.
Sure. Let me get the gal that you talked to this morning, Sonia. Let's start with her. All right. I'm just going to give her the background. You're the head of... Yes.
Worldwide Crime Watch.
Hey, I'm in front of Mr. Graham. And he has several very specific questions that you'd like to ask you. He's the head of the
Worldwide Crime Watch.
Worldwide Crime Watch. And he has some very deadly, pointed questions. Can I hand him...
Can you put it on speaker? Because I'm a little deaf.
Hi, Sonia. You're on speakerphone.
Hello, Sonia. How are you, Sonia?
Hello.
I asked for a doctor to come to see me, and you've sent a PA instead. And since you identified yourself as Mobile Physician Services, I did some checking, and that was a company that I was with before, and they suddenly went up in smoke, and there was all kinds of lawsuits flying. And this young man tells me that that's not the case, that you bought out this other company, and everything's copacetic. Well, I know different. I am the chief investigator for Worldwide Crime Watch. We're a website dedicated to finding out phony doctors and OxyContin doctors who give bad prescriptions. So what I'm finding is that there's some either misinformation, misunderstanding, or this young man is completely in the dark as to what's going on. The owner of this company was recently sued in court for assault, and he's in the process of being sued for writing prescriptions on another doctor's name. Now, I've seen all this. I've heard all this information on the phone this morning from my attorney, and I'd like to know, why did you send this young man to me instead of the doctor?
Okay, sir. Dr. Michael Duffy is the owner of Pacific Medical Care. He also just recently bought Mobile Physician.
He did not.
What was that?
He did not buy it because the name is owned by Dr. Davis, and he's the one involved in a big lawsuit and criminal.
Dr. Davis?
Dr.
Dr.
Davis.
Sir?
Dr.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I have a second?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Dr. Michael
didn't know that. I didn't know any of
As
this.
a physician does,
Okay.
and he can do everything else as a physician does. He is under Dr. Michael S. Duffy's licensure,
Alright.
and he also has licensures of himself.
Alright.
He has his DEA license and his NPI number.
All right, I understand. Now I understand.
Physician.
Okay, ma'am.
No, I understand. Now, is it okay if he treats you?
Well, I just have a couple of questions. When you called me back this morning, you identified yourself as Mobile Physician Services, and that's not who I called. So wait a minute, let me finish. So I made a couple of calls, and I found out Mobile Physician Services is involved in a major lawsuit with this other doctor who once owned it, who now does not. But what I also found out is that Dr. Duffy has been suspended in Missouri. He's been suspended for the Love Project here in San Diego, and I don't understand why a doctor who is operating on a suspended license can send out a PA to prescribe major painkillers for someone like me, which is what I need. I think it's all a bit shit.
Sir, his suspension on his licensure, it is under suspension. He did have challenges in Missouri of a different nature, and his license has no restrictions on it. And they have it under review, but it has no restrictions on
What
it.
about the San Diego case?
The San Diego case has no restrictions on it.
So there's two suspensions. A twice suspended doctor is sending a PA to
No,
treat
it's
me.
not a twice suspended, it's the same suspension.
Oh, I see.
The one suspension goes for Missouri and San Diego. However, it's almost unwarranted because it's been a good 4 years already. So it's just on the last leg of it.
Well, what about the San Diego one? That wasn't 40 years ago.
No, I did not say 40 years ago, I said 4.
Oh, 4. I see.
Yes, and that's almost on its last leg as well, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think this is rather shady, the whole thing, and I'm going to look further into it before I even consider. I would never consider hiring this doctor after listening to him. But most of all, even though this young man is competent, I don't believe he can prescribe my kind of medication. And you say he can do everything, a doctor. I beg to differ. I seriously beg to differ, and I intend.
Okay, well, if you like, I will ask Seth to leave. He will not treat you,
All right.
and you can find a different doctor, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and being forthright.
Thank you, and I'm sorry that it did not work out.
Well, me too, but thanks a lot.
Well, I hope at least if nothing else, you got a couple questions answered.
Well, I did, but I'm really disturbed that you get to go around acting like a doctor and you prescribe because
I don't act like anything.
Well, I don't mean that. I should have said it. Well, I've got a lot of old man friends in this town who are very vulnerable to sharks, what I call them. So we're always looking for the right doctor with the right reputation. Your company has none of that. You don't seem to be disturbed by that. I would if I were you, because your reputation has got something to do with it too.
Have a good day. I hope everything works out for you. Let me pick this up for you.
So you're just leaving then?
Well, if you're going to be verbally abusive.
No, I was not verbally abusive. I was just suggesting that
Take
you
care. I
look
hope.
for better employment.
sir. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Well, by the way, you can tell them that I continue a further investigation of this, and I will be appearing at their offices with a camera crew on ice. What? You'll what?
I said I will relay the message.
Thank you very much, young man. Set is going to relay the message for me. Oh, there you are. Lovely sting. What? Al Graham completing the Worldwide Crime Watch report on these scam doctor named Dr. Duffy. And there you have it.